Hey, this is Lady C coming at you with a quick update. I know I had put a message out on our YouTube channel talking about how we were in a car accident back in December, on December 2nd. We've been through a lot. So we are trying to recuperate from our injuries. I actually fractured my sternum. I've never broken a bone in my body, so this is a whole new experience for me. Even though I've been through a lot, in my life, I've never been through anything like this before. At first, I couldn't even raise my arms up. I mean, I've come a long way since the accident, but I still have a long ways to go. And when I tell you I have been getting a lot of rest, I mean, this is the first video that I've even attempted to do since the accident. And I am tired. In fact, in a second, I'm going to go lay back down. In fact, this recliner that I'm sitting on right now has been my bed for like 4 weeks because I could not lay down in the bed. And my husband, JT, he tried, putting me up on these pillows, like putting a bunch of pillows behind my back so that I wouldn't be laying all the way down. And then all of a sudden, I would actually, get up in the middle of the night and I would have slipped down from those pillows. And then my back was killing me because, I couldn't move. I had to call on him to get me up in the middle of the night. It was so crazy. I mean, this has been an experience, has been really an experience that we've been going through. And I literally was going through a whole lot just trying to make it work, because JT kept telling me, let's order in a medical bed. And I seriously considered that, ordering in the medical bed. And I was like, when I was in the hospital, and I was in the hospital for like 6 days, and during my hospital stay, I literally hated the hospital bed. Even though it had all those buttons that could, like lift you up, bring you back, and all that kind of stuff, had the bars around and everything, I hated that bed. And the bed that we were going to get after we came home was not going to be as good as that hospital bed that I was sleeping in the hospital. So I was like, oh, no, no, no. I don't even want to waste time even bringing that thing in our house. So when I tell you I went through a lot of different scenarios of where I could sleep at, it was terrible. To the point where I was like, I forgot we had this room that we had converted into a den upstairs in one of our bedrooms. And we got these recliners in here. And then it has an automatic, like where I could go back. Let me see if I can go back. I can go back. Here we go. Woo, woo. I'm about to knock my bowl over here on this chair next to this. Okay, so let me stop. Okay, here we go. I'm not even gonna edit this, y'all. I'm just doing this at the gate. I don't care. I don't care if it's terrible. But anyway, so I'm videoing to the side, but I'm actually letting this go out, So I was like, like reared back in this recliner, and I have this pillow behind me, and I had during the night, then I had this pillow up here, and sometimes I had to get a heating pad and all that, and this is where I slept for like about 4 weeks. Okay. Oh my God, y'all, it has been a nightmare dealing with this. Now, okay, I got to see if I can push myself back up. Ooh-wee, it has been, let me tell y'all right now, I am not complaining about nothing else in my life. Once I get through this, if I get through this, which I know I will, you got to be positive. I ain't complaining about nothing. When you see people who are out here struggling, they can barely walk, they can barely move, they can barely do anything. And then I got this, this sternum that has been fractured, and you can feel it if you move too much, because the doctor said, don't try to move too much, don't try to push and pull nothing. And when they tell you that, that's what you got to look at. You got to make sure you don't do any of those things because you're trying to get well. Because I am still under observation right now to the point where if she was giving me, I met with the surgeon the other day, and she was giving me the scenario about how the sternum is supposed to come together. And if it doesn't come together as a union, then I may still have to go in for surgery for them to put some stents in to get that to, join together. So I'm still not out of the woods yet in terms of having to go in for surgery. And I'm just hoping that this thing is healing. But when I tell you I was bruised up and everything, I had never been so bruised up in my life. But it was like, wow. And JT, he did not break anything. He did not break his ribs or anything like that, but he was feeling it because, the airbags deployed in the car. And let me tell you, even though those airbags deployed, and those airbags is what saved our lives, okay? The airbags did the damage to the body, okay? But I want to say something else. Let me just grab this bottle of vitamin D over here. Because I'm going to tell y'all right now, I take this every day. I take vitamin D3, 5,000 IU, or 125 mcg. I got this from Mom Organic. And no, I'm not doing any advertising for Mom Organic. But what I do is I take this little pill. It's about this small. See? Little pill like that. Put it up under my tongue. Let it dissolve every day. Because my doctor had been telling me that you need to, make sure your vitamin D levels are up and things like that. So when I went to the surgeon on a couple of days ago, and I was asking the surgeon about, people in my situation and whether or not have you ever seen anything where someone has broken their sternum and, or fractured their sternum and whether they had to get surgery or not, like something like that, or, like the observation they have me under. I'm like, has anybody else ever been under this kind of observation? And if they did they have to have surgery and this and the other? And what they told me was generally when people have this kind of fracture, they are in ICU, intensive care, okay? So this takes me back to this vitamin D, y'all. This what takes me back to this vitamin D. And I told the doctor, because the surgeon was a lady, and I said, let me say this. I said, I take my vitamin D every day. I said, could that have been possible? The reason why my sternum didn't break all the way, because my bones didn't break all the way, and I am crediting my vitamin D, okay? Take it every day. So if y'all ain't taking y'all vitamin D, go to the store, whether you want to take the one that you just swallow, the little gel cap, the one that dissolves in your mouth. They may have some that you can chew, whatever it is. You got to get your vitamin D. And I got to get my calcium too. I did buy calcium, but I haven't been taking it because I can't stand calcium, okay? Anyway, that's another video. So I'm just kind of like coming out just giving you, my story about all the stuff I've been through. And I'm not even getting into the details of the accident right now, but I'm just kind of talking about, how I've been able to, get through all this. I've been so grateful that my husband has been my caretaker, and we have been working together to get me well. And I can actually see where I've made some improvements, a lot of improvements, because, it was terrible. When the accident first happened, I couldn't even bathe myself. So I had to have somebody bathe me. I couldn't take a shower by myself, none of that. It was terrible. And just looking back on it, the pain that I was in, I could not believe how much pain I was in. And I was taking, like pain meds. And I'm not a pill popper. And so that wasn't working for me, taking the medication that they had me on. Even though, when you took your medication, you kind of felt like, oh, I feel relaxed. I feel woozy. You know how people feel woozy. You take that medicine, take woozy. You feel woozy. And I was like, the last time I took that medication, and it kept trying to take me down. And so JT kept saying, well, the medicine is supposed to relax you. It's supposed to help you so that you can sleep at night and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, no, but this time I took that medication, it was dragging me down. And I'm like, no, you're not going to do this. You're not going to drag me down like this. I'm not taking no more of this medication. So since January 1st, I have not taken any more pain pills. But I am taking this. I'm taking this Tylenol. Why am I taking this children's Tylenol? Don't laugh at me. Because these doggone pills, if you take them regular, they're like huge, they're huge pills, and I'm not doing that. Okay? So I just go ahead and take my liquid Tylenol, which I'm not doing that much. So every once in a blue lagoon. How do you hear me say blue lagoon? That ain't even a word. Once in a blue moon, I get me like 30 milliliters of this. Take that. That works. I don't have these in the room with me right now, but I got a lidocaine patch that I put on my chest, and I've been doing that. Every time I took medicine, I would record it in my digital calendar so I could keep track of when I was taking my medicine. Oh, but I'm telling you, I am just so grateful to have survived the accident. And I am telling you that it is a very humbling experience when you go through something like this. It felt like my body had severed in two different places. That's just how much pain I was in. And I remember my husband, when we got out the car, and you got to be so careful when you're in an accident, because cars were trying to come around the accident. And my husband kept taking me to the side of the road, telling me, get out of the pathway of the people that were coming at us. And I'm telling y'all right now, I almost survived the accident to get killed on the side of the road because a car was coming right at me. And my husband was still pushing me to the side of the road. But I was so dazed that I was like, oh my God, I was like, where's my phone? Where's my this, my that? I was so worried about these items in the car that I could have got that later. You know what I'm saying? And so these are the kind of things, oh my God, when you get in an accident, don't worry about that kind of stuff. Just get yourself to safety. And so thank God, my husband was just so proactive, just making sure that I was getting to the side of the road, getting out of the pathway of oncoming cars. The police officer, he took all of our information. He took our license, our registration, insurance, and everything. And we got into the ambulance, and we were going to the hospital. And he told us he would be on his way with our credentials, everything we had. The next thing we know, we were getting a message from the ambulance drivers telling us that the police officer that responded to our accident would not be able to make it because the backup police officer that actually was backing him up on our accident, somebody rear-ended the back of that police cruiser. So it was like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. So there was an accident with an accident. And so I'm telling you, people just drive so crazy. I can't tell you enough. When you're out here on these roads, please drive safe. So I'm telling you, it was a nightmare. And I was at the hospital for quite a while before I found out that I had fractured my sternum. And the pain that I was in was excruciating. Excruciating. So I'm telling you, when I look back on that night, it's like, oh my God, I don't want to relive that again. But I just wanted to come out and just tell my story about what I've been through. And I'll tell some experiences later, talking about my roommates in the hospital. I mean, my personality type, when I go through something bad, it's not like all downhill for me. And thank goodness I was very humorous when I was in the hospital. And I had the doctors laughing and the nurses and everything, even my roommates. But anyway, we'll talk about that later, and just letting you know that even when you're in an accident or something negative is happening in your life, you gotta stay calm. You want to stay upbeat, because that's what keeps you going. That's really what keeps you going. So anyway, so I'm not doing anything special with this video. I'm not even doing the intro and outro. I'm just coming out talking, letting y'all know that we will be out here on these airwaves again pretty soon when I can get myself together. Right now, today was, like I said, the first time that I even attempted to do a video. All right, y'all, this has been Lady C. I thank y'all for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one.